wow, these are really dramatic times, aren't they? Searching for the hostages. I mean, doing so much work throughout these 7 months to find these and rescue these poor hostages. And in Rafiah, myself in Jabalia in the north, the amount of effort exerted is just astronomical. And it's dangerous. A lot of opposition from the Islamic Jihad, from Izzeldin al-Qassam, of course, from Hamas. You can hear some explosions in the background. So look what happened, right? You guys were appraised to the fact that our guys were able to go in there, in Rafah, along with a whole bunch, a conglomerate of forces, based on information that received, and rescue. Sadly, they were dead. They were just bodies, but to retrieve the bodies of Yitzhak Gelentner, Shani Lok, and Amit Buskila. These bodies of the hostages in an overnight operation. We don't sleep often overnight, and I wasn't at this exact spot. We were in a different spot, but it was intelligence that our guys got. And what happened is on the 7th of October, they came through the Hamas, and they came in and they just massacred so many people. And these were massacred at the Miflasim intersection, and you go by there now, it's hard to imagine people burned alive, cars burnt, just the amount of violence, the amount of atrocities, and that's what they set out to do, isn't it? And that's why we're here, to stand in the gap, and operations continue. We continue even at this time to use, Shabbat comes, Shabbat goes. We're doing operations to make sure, and it's risky, but to make sure that this won't happen again, to make sure we can rescue the rest of the 129 hostages that are left. And it's a national task, and we're at it. Over in Deir el-Balach, it's filling up with tents. So many tents of people evacuating, Gazans evacuating Rafah, and they're filling up in these tents. And people ask me about the food situation. They say, "Are they starving there? What's going on? You're there." They say, "Are they starving there? What's going on? You're there with boots on the ground. Tell us what's going on." Well, they actually are saying that food prices are dropping because the amount of food coming from Israel and from around the world. Don't forget, already the port is in motion. The U.S. port over there too. There's a lot of food coming in. I mean, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of trucks. I see them every day, and they say the price of food is dropping. Now, there's areas that are cleared out of people. There's areas that are unlivable, but there are areas like Deir el-Balach where you have tents and you have food. And look at this operation. The United States says it'll never work. It'll take you months and months and months to get this Rafah operation happening, and it's been less than 2 weeks and it's already happening. But they're not liking that. At the same time, Hezbollah is really, really, really upping its rocket attacks, and those are precision rockets, unlike some of the other rockets that you see. 75 rockets shot at the north. Sirens are going off right now. People are dying. 3 just died. Before that, another 4 soldiers just died. Innocent people are dying that's what Hezbollah is, a terror organization. Their only goal is it's very similar to the Hamas, to establish some sort of caliphate, to just destroy Israel. And but yeah, so I was able to be not only in Rafah, but I'm also operating in Jabalia. And man, this is, it's quite a scary scenario. Most violent war, they attack in alleys, narrow streets. So we had to be very, very careful as we went through. You probably saw a weapons production plant, rocket launcher were located, and our guys, Yalom, have to go and remove those and bring them out, dismantle this stuff. And so it's just been amazing to see the work of the Combat Engineer Corps in this time. I'm really amazed. Engineer Corps has identified about 700 underground tunnel shafts in the Rafah area, including 50 tunnels going under the border into Egypt. Now, some of these are smaller, some of these are bigger, and the process of destroying this is very, it's complicated. It's all complicated. And but I'm very glad to be part of this. This is such a hard, the harder your task is, and the more bravery it takes, I think the more you really feel that you're part of something amazing and you're part of defending your country. And it's I'm sure it's eternal, the blessings that God has given us. And I was sitting the other day just thinking about it. My head was just spinning with all these thoughts, and people died. As you know, I lost friends this week again. And I think sometimes of the great heroes of Israel in the past who had to make hard choices, who had to stand in the gap for Israel, who had to go like young King David and fight Goliath, who's from the Pentapolis of the Philistines. And so a similar situation, I think of these sages and what they wrote. Here's a sage from ancient Israel, okay, and he said, "Our light affliction, which just for a moment, but it works in us a far more exceeding eternal weight of glory." This affliction, this light affliction works in us. It's like a purification, like silver being tried, and we have a eternal weight of glory. And I just love that, and it brought tears to my eyes, and I thought, yes, that is what we're part of.
על הקסדות, על הנעליים, על כל הציוד. כל הכבוד!